what if they offered you not just a segment, but what if they're like, Francis, we want you to do the 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock hour?
Well, yeah, I mean, then that would be, I'd have to have a conversation with Dave for sure. Like, hey, I have a full-time job being offered to me at Fox News.
Yeah.
No, but I got home, I talked to my wife about it because I was disappointed in myself. And she was like, let's be honest. Like, do you want to be working with these people?
You just heard from a gentleman named Francis Ellis from Barstool Sports, and he apparently, as of late, has been appearing more and more on Fox News, specifically Jesse Waters' show. But in a hot mic moment, he disclosed what he really thinks about working at Fox News, what he thinks about the network, and I enjoyed it. I also enjoyed the fact that the editors were supposed to edit this out of the final product and they just forgot to. But Mediaite was able to grab it before they deleted the video. So let's go to the first clip where he talks about how he was asked to work full time for Fox and how he felt about it.
They have asked me to do Man on the Street for them, and I had to say no. They wanted me to take like this subway bingo card down into the subway and be like, ask random strangers, have you seen a rat? Fill out your bingo card thing.
Yeah.
And it was like so stupid.
Let you read it.
I know.
But what if they offered you not just a segment, but what if they're like, Francis, we want you to do the 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock hour?
Well, yeah, I mean, then that would be, I'd have to have a conversation with Dave for sure. Like, hey, I have a full-time job being offered to me at Fox News.
Yeah.
No, but I got home, I talked to my wife about it because I was disappointed in myself. And she was like, let's be honest. Like, do you want to be working with these people? She was like, I watched the rest of his show and like the stuff that he's a joke.
You know, I'm a big fan of his wife. Don't know who she is, never met her, but 1010 would recommend, great wife.
Yeah, so look guys, this story is interesting not because you've got Barstool Sports versus Fox News. That's a little bit interesting. Barstool, look, I'm gonna be unfair because I do not watch or listen to most of their hosts, but from what I have seen, a lot of their hosts and their founder appears to be pretty right wing, not exclusively right wing, but often supports crazy right wing stuff, right? So it's not surprising that Fox News is then taking some analysts from what appears to be a largely right wing sports network, right?
Yeah, and to be clear, this guy does like comedy stuff. Right, so I don't know if he's an analyst. He might be. I haven't really seen any of his stuff.
All right, I get it. But that's not why it's interesting. It's interesting because it shows you how media works behind the scenes. Okay, so he's like, man, my wife says they're an effing joke. I know that, but he still goes on because he's got to get that attention, right? And so
also let's just be honest about the media landscape, especially in the United States, where there are very few options for folks, right? To have a stable job, to have gainful employment in the media industry, it is difficult. I mean, the layoffs, the digital media closures and bankruptcies, it's all over the place. So it is slim pickings, which is why it's incredibly difficult to find principled people who will say no to those opportunities.
And so this is a complicated case. We're not just bashing the guy because if you believe him, he said that he did say no to that segment.
Right.
And that's good, that's principled, right? But at the same time, when he says, well, would you take an hour-long show? He's like, whoa, that's different. You know why it's different? Sean Hannity, for example, has one of the primetime shows on Fox News. You know what his salary is? $40 million a year, okay? So that's why when he says, would you like, how about a primetime show? He's like, well, then selling out your principles and being awful to other people as you're living. Yeah, maybe I'd consider that, right? He's being honest. I don't fault him for that. And by the way, he's not alone. Don't just pick on that guy. I guarantee you 98% of the people in media would have that same exact thought. And now you've seen people switch from MSNBC in the past. They don't do it as much anymore. From MSNBC and CNN over to Fox News, and all of a sudden overnight change all of their opinions and analysis.
Totally. I mean, I've seen people go from TYT to kissing Daily Wire ass. I've also seen people working at TYT to kissing Boogaloo Boy ass. So yeah, it exists.
And Tucker Carlson ass, and all over Fox News.
Definitely.
Etc.
So now let's get to the fun stuff, because they start clowning on Tucker Carlson, and that was probably my favorite part of it. Let's watch.
And then like Tucker comes on and just screams like,
"What's going on?"
It's so weird.
Doesn't make sense to me. Does it make sense to you? Shouldn't.
That was pretty good. Yeah, and they're just trafficking in hate.
They're just trafficking in hate. They know it. Yeah, and he still goes on there though. You see how this works, right? But even then, it seems like they barely know it. Like his wife watched the rest of Jesse Waters and figured out that he's an effing joke, right? Like they're like, oh, Tucker, no, it looks like he's trafficking. Like, I think it's pretty clear that they know. I think it's clear they know exactly what Fox News is about. It's interesting how we kind of have different perceptions of the audio, because my perception was that Ellis is actually really uncomfortable with Fox News, does not like Fox News. And yeah, I totally hear what you're saying. He's going on, but he's going on again in a media landscape where it's incredibly difficult to be a principled person and say no to opportunities. Only crazy people like me do that, right? Yeah. Where it's like, no, I don't want to be your I don't want to be your mouthpiece and your tool, exactly. Anyway. Yeah, I mean, look, I know one other person who did it, and it wasn't for Fox News, it was me for MSNBC. That's right, yeah, it's a good point. And guys, the reason why I've never criticized others for not leaving MSNBC is because where are they gonna go, right? And so that every anchor on MSNBC knows, especially because in the old days there used to be radio and now there basically isn't any radio left. Not for anyone on the Democratic side. And they see what happened to Bill O'Reilly on cable news overall. Bill O'Reilly had the #1 rated show in all of cable news. And then they thought, oh, he's such a legendary broadcaster. And then when he left Fox News, he's like, all right, I'm gonna go into new media and I'm gonna do this. And he got about -17 viewers. And it turns out he wasn't a great broadcaster. He just happened to be on Fox, right? And now he went from making tens of millions of dollars a year to making nothing. So when they see that happen over and over again, when an MSNBC executive or a Fox News executive says jump, they say, how high? I'll do anything to keep this job or to get this job. Yeah. Now the last clip has to do with the fact that Ellis goes on Fox to make jokes, right? He does like these comedic segments, but he's feeling a little guilty because he feels that some of the jokes that he makes might not be jokes that the audience understands. So let's take a listen to that.
But you're in a capacity where you are very clearly like taking comedic routes. So it's
I don't know, bro. People are dumb.
Dude,
people
last night I think last night I went into a place that I shouldn't have gone to.
No, you're too harsh on yourself.
No, because last night I was like, yes, the Democrats are like eating children beneath pizza shops.
Yeah, but that obviously is
there
like
are people watching that who don't know that I'm with them.
Yeah, what are you gonna be?
They're like, thank you.
They're like, finally,
are you
a young handsome person is saying it?
Are you Jesus? What are you gonna fix everybody? Come on, bro. You're there to tell jokes.
I'm not here to fix people, but I'm certainly not here to like
stoke the flame.
Yeah, divide the country.
I'm really curious what you think about that exchange.
Yeah, I think he's a good guy.
Yeah, I think so too.
I think he's a good guy struggling with how to get ahead in his career while not morally compromising himself. And maybe he made some mistakes, and I agree with him. He shouldn't have made that joke. I 100% agree with him that the audience does not know at all. The audience thinks it's absolutely literal, okay? And so you have to, don't assume that they think like you. They do not. They genuinely believe in crazy things like Democrats running a pedophile ring out of a pizza shop basement. So when he jokes about that, they go, aha, we knew it, right? And so, but the fact that he actually has a conscience already elevates him above most of the people in media,
honestly. It's so rare.
Yeah.
It's so rare, exactly. So that's what really spoke to me, what really stood out about him. And look, at the end of the day, it's really hard for people to understand it unless they're actually in the media news business, right? There are so few jobs that actually pay you not only like a decent salary or a decent wage, but think about benefits, right? There are few options. And so, I don't know. I don't want to say I don't blame anyone for taking those kinds of jobs. I actually do, right? Like, I think you can find a way, pave your own way. You can make it happen. But I also understand what that landscape looks like and the pressures to survive in this economy, right? So all of those factors play a role in the decisions that people make. Just want to be fair and mention that.
Yeah, and last things here is that, but don't give him too much credit for being honest. Remember, it's a hot mic. He didn't mean to admit any of that on air.
Exactly.
And he probably would have gone on for another segment. He probably will not be asked to go on another segment after this. Keep it real, so we're being balanced here. And guys, like just one more last piece of context for you guys. One of the reasons MSNBC wanted to move me from primetime to weekends, and that's when I said no, is because they said I was criticizing Obama too much. But that's your job as a journalist, to be fair and to criticize with facts whoever is doing the right or wrong, right? And they said, remember who the home team is. And so they view the Democratic Party as the home team. So when you get mad at Fox News, don't forget that most of the people that work in mainstream media also had to do a Faustian bargain. And in that case, they had to agree to lie on behalf of corporations, the status quo, establishment politicians in both the Republican and Democratic Party. So it's not just the Fox News guys that are morally compromised. Honestly, it's most of the media. Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.